Hello guys, David Bose here. Well, it's a beautiful day in Alabama. Hope you're having a wonderful day, guys, where you are. Guys, I just noticed I haven't been really following the trial of the guy named AJ, Alex. I don't even think I want to use his name. Try not to be very specific about this because I'm telling you, something's going on. I want to share something with you. All right. Though I haven't sat and listened to all of the trial. I didn't listen to everything. I did watch 2 videos. I saw Alex testify briefly. I saw the headlines. I saw the other announcer guy that works for him with the beard, the younger guy, give a bit of testimony. But I think it was yesterday I don't know if it was yesterday that it happened, but I saw the little clip that his lawyer said, "Oh, oops, we accidentally sent 300 gigabyte, I don't even know. It was enormous amounts of material. We just accidentally sent over files and emails and all of his medical records, and we sent over pictures from his baby albums. We all of the newspaper articles he's ever been in, every place he's ever went in his life, every medical examination he's ever had, everything he's got in his bank, all of his bank information, who his mommy and daddy were, and all of the genealogy and everything he believes, and every video and they sent it all accidentally. But it didn't stop there. As you watched it, I only watched a few minutes of it. The prosecutor, the one against the Alex, was pushy, made certain statements, all of course for the camera, was allowed to do anything he wanted. But whenever the lawyer for Alex would ask anything or do, he would be very brief. He wouldn't push anything. He didn't argue much. If he ever tried to, they'd tell him, "Be quiet, you can't argue, and we're not going to let you do that." And if he objected, they just, allowed it or whatever. It was very, very telling, and I was watching this and thinking, my goodness, goes back to the question, was Alex a controlled opposition? Do they really hate him? Are they really trying to get rid of him, but somehow or another he's outsmarting them all these years? He's been on nationally syndicated radio program no matter what going on. I always kind of suspected that they're using him. That's a big show. Now it's to the point where if we determine that, or it can be proven that Alex is controlled opposition, then the entire trial may just be one of those things kind of like the Epstein deal where he ends up going off to an island somewhere and we all think they got him. And in the meantime, see guys, this is what happens when you start talking like this crazy little fat guy that's obnoxious and lies about everything. Doesn't matter if all the other, CNN, MSNBC can lie all they want on their programs, literally and truly lie and give propaganda. That's all right, because that's the way we roll. But Alex is not allowed to say anything that may have been wrong. What did he say? Well, he said that, okay, you know what he said. He's saying a lot of things. Not just the Sandy, thingy thing. But, all the other thingy things have been going on. The false FLA, G things. But he's saying a lot of stuff about diet and DOCTO and, maybe that's the real thing they don't like, because he's probably been saying, having DOCTORs on his program, denying the whole PAND, whatever, EMIC, if you want to, if it's necessary that I spell this out for you. But It's obvious that he said a lot of stuff. Well, all we can imagine is that he was allowed to say it in a controlled way so that in the end they could just debunk it all and say he was crazy and get rid of him. That would get rid of all the lies with him, right? And if he was in on it, he just consents to it. They give him a lot of money, send him to his own island out there with Epstein, where all the young girls are, right? They're still working underground. You know, maybe Trump and Bill Gates will go out on an airplane and visit him. They'll be fine. Remember, Trump likes the guy. They're best buddies. They always were. Rogan's likes him too. I mean, they're best buddies. He's got his own nationally syndicated program now. Now I see he's got even bigger gigs. He was just announcing the MMA, whatever. Now he's doing girls boxing and some other sport things and stuff. And he's doing all the weigh-ins. And he's even announcing fights and being, you know, I don't know what he's doing. He's just doing everything. And by the way, I just tried to get pictures of Joe Rogan back when he did the Fear Factor. I got some little pictures, just still pictures of it, and downloaded them so that I could stick them on the background here. And I think you guys remember I was telling you, they've got this thing going now to where if they don't want me to use a picture in my video, they won't let me use it. I download it. I can do that. I can put it in this video. But when I play it back, it's some other crazy video. I don't know where they get these other videos. I didn't download them. They're not the video that I downloaded. And I did it 5 or 6 times, and all of them, they switched it on me. So I gave up. And besides, I thought, well, if they're trying to tell me not to put that in there, that might be a flag, so I better not put it in there. So I can't even put his picture in here, guys, just to show you how much control they have over all these videos. But anyway, for years he's been doing these programs that were like #1 programs. I remember way back when Rogan was doing those shows, I remember thinking it was a pretty good show. I mean, I never did like watching TV very much, but I do remember watching that a few times. Sometimes, you know, they'd get thrown into this, I don't know, glass cage or something, and then they dump a bunch of, you know, scorpions in on top of them, or, you know, snakes or something. It was just crazy. And everybody watched it. I'm sure he made a lot of money off that program and other programs that I don't even remember. And of course, now he's got his own national, you know, he's bigger than Rush Limbaugh now. And he was very, very friendly with Alex. But, so I think that there's a very good chance that all of this was a hoax, the whole trial. Now, if it was a hoax in one of 2 different possible ways. Either Alex is in on it, and like I said, they're going to send him off to the island with Epstein soon, and give him a bunch of money and pat him on the back. And after this is all over in the new world, he'll be a big statue right up on the hill, right? When the devil's kingdom takes over the whole world in hell. And they'll all be living in hell, you know, wreathing in pain. But hey, they're all going to be downloading themselves into a video game where it's all sex and power and greed and frothing at the bit, you know, doing whatever they want, running around, you know, making up anything they want to do. Well, they'll be having a lot of fun, but of course they won't be very happy, and they won't advance, and they'll never get to see a higher glories and be with us for a long, long, long time until they come out of this mesmerism or whatever kind of hypnotizing concepts that they've accepted. But the other possibility is that Alex literally doesn't know what's going on. They set him up. They used him, just like I said, as controlled opposition. Allowed him a little rope, kind of make him popular, and then just took him out, and they're railroading him. And so his lawyer, if he thinks he's got himself a lawyer, that's not a lawyer. That is another prosecutor. There are 2 prosecutors on that team. One against him and the other one against him. He has no advocate. He has no one helping him, because when your own lawyer accidentally sends everything you ever done on a hard file downloaded right into the big, metaverse and uploaded right up to YouTube so everybody could see. I mean, he was banned, right? But now all of the information about this man is not banned, but it's going to be public 24/7. We're going to be watching this for the next several. Remember when we were watching the WikiLeaks? I really seriously believe that was all made up. I seriously believe now that Julian Assange, as we've said, may have very well. He looks exactly like Trump's brother's son, John Trump, right? That got the Tesla file. It looks exactly like him. I've shown pictures. Some say he might be a reincarnation, or he just, is a clone, or he came back in time because there's some, theories running around that, maybe Tesla had a time machine. See, I don't believe in any of this. I don't believe in the flat earth. I think it's made up by another Bavarian. I don't believe that we've gone to Mars or the moon. I think it's all made up by some other Bavarian. I don't believe that Epstein hung himself. I think he's on an island somewhere sipping a margarita. I don't necessarily know, but I doubt. At this point, I'm not quite sure, but I think Jones is part of the whole plan. Just like Julian Assange. I think it was all set up. Come on, think about it. Remember, we were just going along and buying our own business, and all of a sudden here comes this thing called WikiLeaks. And they were just leaking. The government's like, oh, please stop leaking. Oh, man, he's going to expose everything. And nothing happened. Nobody went to jail. I mean, nothing, right? But it seems like the only purpose for any of that was just to get the truth out there so that they could say, well, oh yeah, y'all knew about it. We leaked it. It's not like it can't be done. Like there's no truth. We allowed it. We had hearings in Congress about it. Everybody knew. Look, we told everybody everything. We're gonna depopulate the world. We got up on this stage and told you. Bill Gates got up there and said, yeah, depopulation, and even laughed about it. We did the whole thing public. We told you. Trust me, nothing gets over the internet that they don't want you to know. So if there were videos running around out there saying something about a false, thingy thing, FLAG, if any of that stuff had been told to you, it's because they wanted you to know it. But they also wanted you to know that the people who are saying those things are crazy. They're stupid. They're little, fat, ignoramus, crazy people. And they don't believe in the modern pharma. They don't believe in government. They don't believe in Elon Musk. They don't believe in the great, Trump. They don't believe in law and order. Now, I know there's a whole other group out there. I mean, there's so many of these things going on. There are a certain number of people. Like, it's funny how they swing the pendulum. Like, now it's the liberals that are actually saying some good things. Like, think about it. They've convinced us that everything liberals say and socialists are bad. I mean, I was in that camp. I thought, well, they're all bad. Everything they say is bad. And it is. It is bad. It's always bad. But if you really think about it, everything the conservatives say is bad. More cops? Oh, that's good. No, that's bad. Why? Because we need freedom. We don't need government. We don't need to be under martial law. Every prison and every cop and every soldier that they finance takes money out of our pocket and makes us less safe, because now we're in a martial law situation. We're under the state. And there's no doubt about that. So then they say, well, we need a bigger army. Well, that's all H-O, A. I don't spell it quickly because of the algorithm's X. But because little Kim Un, or whatever Kim Jong-un, Kim Kang-kong, I don't know, him and his daddy, Inge Anga-un, pretended that they got these big old missiles that could just hit New York at any moment, and there's nuclear, and I don't believe any of that's true. It's a ruse. It's a lie. Everything is a lie. Why would they do that, David? Because they want you to be scared, very, very scared. And they want you to believe that that's bad, see? We've got to get rid of all of that. But you see, only reason we have nuclear weapons is because the bad guys have them. So now they're going to be in fear, locked down somewhere in North Korea or Taiwan or Hong Kong or Japan. And if you've ever heard stories about any other country other than the United States, if you live in the United States, every story you ever hear from any other country, it's like, oh my goodness, those people are starving and they got no freedom over there. They're all communists and they're dying on the streets and there's hookers on every corner and they're just ignorant. They don't know how to talk English over there. Oh, wait a minute. That's us. Yeah. Well, but anyway, this is what we believe. And they got cops everywhere putting them in jail and railroading them into, some slavery and pedophilia going on everywhere. Corruption. But what they never tell you is that it's probably more pronounced here in the United States than anywhere else in the world. And over in these other countries, they're really just living pretty much, it's all an experiment. They experiment on us over here with this kind of government, and they experiment with them on that kind. They're all running the whole thing together. And, the guy that's the president of China, we're like, oh, he might just drop a bomb any moment or a missile or something. No, he does what we tell him. Not we. He does what Bill Gates and Donald Trump tell him to do. Because remember, Donald Trump is the representative of the Bavarian Illuminati. So whatever they go into the Isle of Malta and make a decision, they run it past the Jesuit priests and the billionaires and they all come to an agreement at the Bohemian Grove one night and get drunk and rape each other I won't even say anything further. Anyway, after they've had a wonderful night, at the Grove, they come back and then they make their public statements. They got people running everywhere. They got some states that they allow to be conservative and some to be socialist and some liberal. And, they got DeSantis pretending to be a good guy, and they got Newsom pretending to be I don't know what, somebody who cares about people. So therefore he lets the homeless, just pile up on the street, sitting in their own manure. Oh, what a nice guy. It would be a lot nicer is if you would not just take criminals and put them back on the street, but that you would actually allow them a way to live free. So nobody wants to be a criminal. If you give them any kind of opportunity to live in a free country where they can make enough money to eat or have a garden or give them a little plot of land, or instead of just burning them all out and forbidding them to be on government land okay, so the only place these poor people can go if they're homeless is under a bridge or on the street corner. Now, they like that because then it causes people to come take pictures and there's a big problem and then they can talk about it in the papers and on to the liberals, he looks like he's a bleeding heart liberal. He loves people. He's not going to put them in jail. By golly, he's not going to make them leave. He'll let them stay in their tents. Well, they shouldn't be in tents. They shouldn't be poor. They've been paying in all their life their Social Security, but I'm sure they're getting Social Security checks. Perhaps you should make a place where rent is reasonable and these people can get a place to live. I don't know, just an idea. Instead of herding into these places of deprivation. But you see, it's all a hoax because you've got groups playing to one heartstring over here, and you got other people like DeSantis playing to somebody else's heartstrings. And so there's a lot of people in the country that feel like the liberals are right. We shouldn't put these poor people in jail. I mean, think about most of the black community. They've been hearing for years that all their people are in jail and it's not fair. So it makes them happy when they say, we're not putting people in jail, we're going to let them out. I see what's going on, guys, is they're probably not letting out your people. They're just letting out the people that they want, the criminals that have a deal with the DA to go in and rob and pillage to make havoc on the street because that's what they're paying them to do. You think these people would go out and just make a living running around busting into buildings and taking stuff. Nobody would do that. Nobody. People want to live a good life. They want to have a family. They want to have a place to live in, their own home. They want to, pursue knowledge and peace. And all of these criminals that we've been seeing for years, none of these are real. They're all paid. They're all allowed to do that. And then they're allowed them to get away with it. And then the ones that are in the jails are probably the poor peasants that they're experimenting on. Or, like, what was that lady, Diane Downs, that they said she did some terrible thing and she's been in prison for years and she's going to be there the rest of her life, even though she didn't do it. It was just another experiment. Or how about Jeffrey Dahmer, or these people that are literally members of the great Bavarian occult that finally, they get found out. And so they end up having to admit that, okay, here's this guy that did some terrible things, but he must just be some evil, abnormal kind of specimen. We'll study him under a microscope, because what kind of a person would act like this? Well, the kind of person that would act like this is a person that believes in Satanism, and that is their religion, and he's probably one of the elite sons, just like a little Biden kid, right? And they don't know what to do with it, but maybe they just want you to know that little Biden's a pedophile, maniac, evil, wicked monster. Maybe they want you to know that. Maybe they want you to hate Biden. Maybe they want you to hate this, that, or the other thing. I don't know. No, we can't even possibly somehow straighten all of this out. But all I'm telling you is nothing that you see on the television is true. But you see, they can control the narrative. So for years we've heard about the WikiLeaks. We've heard about the, Hillary's emails and that whiny little voice. We all hated her, and Pelosi and the drunken stuttering that she does when she gets up there and tries to talk and gets her wig on crooked and everything. And we all hate her. And then Trump comes along and is like, law and order, law and order. Now we're like, yeah, oh, please, Trump, come back. So this is all set up. And so all these years, people like Alex Jones and Julian Assange have been telling us all these crazy things. And there's that other guy, Snowden. Well, they were probably in on it. That's my guess. If not, if there weren't willing patsies, they were probably being used as such, regardless of whether they knew they were or not. I'm pretty sure WikiLeaks is part of the whole thing. He couldn't have gotten all this information leaked to the world that way. Or even if he was purposely thinking was going to leak this and let us all know what's really going on, maybe he in his mind really believed he was doing a good thing. But they only allow what they want to really be leaked, and under certain circumstances, so they can rebuff and make him look like an idiot and shove it under the rug somehow. And here's another reason why they're probably doing this. They also need to have the illusion that they do not have complete and absolute power. That somebody's fighting for you. That maybe if we just be quiet and be patient and sit there and watch the news every day and hoping that somebody's coming to save us, and then you won't go out and do something or take it into your own hands or panic, but you'll start to think, well, see, there's good people out there working for us. And eventually they'll figure it out. I mean, look, here's Alex. He's out there. He's telling the people, right? Well, he'll go to court and he'll win, or, we'll figure this out, and Trump will come along and he'll pardon him, and don't, just relax, guys. Everything will be all right. See, what they don't want you to know is nothing is going to be all right. You're done. You heard the cattle call, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and you're all going towards the slaughter. And you don't understand. There is no way out of there once you get into this corral. No way out. They've reinforced the fence. You can't get out once you're in there, buddy. So, all they got to do, because they almost got us. Everybody's just going along, hey, how are you doing? Well, that grass sure was good down there at the other hill. Oh, I found some clover, but oh, buddy, now we're going to get some of that alfalfa. Oh, buddy, that farmer's an awesome guy. He's got some grains and some stuff waiting for us and fresh water. Let's go, oh buddy. And if you can trick these cows into not even noticing that there's cowboys standing around with lassos, and they're up on the fence, like looking at them, smoking cigars. If they don't notice that, if they don't get spooked, you can get them in the corral. Friends, that's what's going on. Alex and Jones and Trump and DeSantis and these guys are only there so that you'll just don't worry about it. They're gonna fix it. It'll all be all right someday. Mark my words. I guarantee it. So, here we have all these years, and everybody's saying, see, the government lied. See, the government's doing evil. Pharma's bad, and all this proof we've got. And then, boom, one day, Alex goes to trial, and we prove he was an idiot, and now we can just close that chapter and act like we allowed the people to know everything. We heard both sides, and it turns out that these stupid people that think the government's bad, they were lying all along. We took them to court. We proved it. They were liars. Well, that wasn't a fair trial, because it's called free speech. You can't actually say that you're not allowed to say that, like if I go on YouTube and I say, oh, I think that Newsom or DeSantis are patsies, they're telling lies. I can say all that I want. It might not be true, but I can say that. I have free speech. That's what I believe. And so if Alex believed that certain things were being done and the government was doing bad things and the CIA was doing bad, I mean, we all know they were. If he was wrong about one of the bad things that they actually did that they actually didn't do, well, okay, I'm sure that people, make mistakes, but as a journalist, you're supposed to be allowed to give your opinions. This is completely, I can't even believe that we've come down to a point where we've convinced everybody that it's okay to put somebody in prison, bankrupt them, destroy them for their public opinions. They've literally taken away free speech. By this trial, they will have achieved, in essence, there is no more free speech. And this is another reason why they have to do it this way. So they want to make a precedent. They want to make it law. They want to make oppression the law. They want to be able to oppress us. They want to take away our rights. Well, they can't just announce it tomorrow. We're taking away your rights now. They have to go to court and prove that you don't have rights. But you couldn't take an actual citizen to court for speaking his own mind. Well, we found this guy over here on his Facebook page that spoke his own mind, and we're going to sue him and make a precedent in the law, change everything we've ever believed, and say this citizen doesn't have the right to free speech. Well, what did he say? Well, he didn't like Washington. He thinks he was a bad... Well, what? Did he slander the President of the United States, George Washington? Well, that's free speech. No, it's not free speech. We took it to trial and we proved it. Well, you took it to a dummy trial, a pseudo trial, a trial with actors. Both sides were working for the government. So the outcome, nobody's going to complain too much. If Alex does lose everything, he'll probably just go, oh, well, I'm going to retire now. They probably won't put him in jail because he's one of them. They'll just claim that, well, they won this historic trial, and now, of course, the courts have proven that human beings do not have free speech on YouTube. They'll take me out as well because it's already been proven in trial that I have no free speech, you have no free speech. Well, why didn't they just take the people that were actually speaking out against the government, who were doing the things they didn't like? Why didn't they take them to trial and not their actors? Well, if they took real people to trial, they'd be concerned about their lawyer handing over all their supposed files, and they'd say something. They'd probably say, hey, I have rights. But see, what's going to go down is they're going to promote it all over the television and say, well, Alex lost the trial. He admits it. He's not going to try and contest it. he's going to retire. We'll never hear from him again. You'll never see him in the news. He's gone. He'll be off on an island with Epstein. I mean, that's one scenario. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. But I'm just showing you why it's possible they have these kinds of scenarios. If the trials that we see, remember the young man that supposedly was defending himself with a gun and they tried to prosecute him? They're seeing all these kinds of prosecutions. Well, I guarantee these aren't regular citizens. That guy that supposedly was trying to defend himself, a young kid, right? It was made for television. It was simply an orchestrated, staged event. All the players work for the same people. And that's what's going on here. And I guarantee that once this happens, there'll come a point, if I ever get any bigger, if I reach any more people than I'm already reaching, I guarantee that you're going to see me being destroyed. They will destroy me some way or another. I will be destroyed if I continue to speak the truth. So I don't know what to do about it, because I cannot but speak the truth. And I guarantee I am not a patsy. I guarantee that the way they dealt with me is different than the way they dealt with Alex. For Alex, they gave him a nationally syndicated radio program. With Alex, they gave him, when he was on YouTube, he just went viral everywhere. Me, I went viral for about a year until they caught on, and they've changed the algorithms now to where no one is allowed to even know that I exist except the people who already know I exist. And so that's how they're trying to keep me under the rug, is just not allow anybody to ever find out about me. And I'll just be talking to the choir, and there's just a few of us. And as long as it doesn't get any bigger, I think maybe they've struck a deal. I think my angels have struck a deal with the demons and said, look, you're going to have to let Dave stay on. And the demons are like, fine, but we're not going to, we don't have to promote him. Okay, fine. So there's where, guys, you got to remember, we're going to have to do our own promotions. And I don't mean go viral, because if we go viral, we'll be gone. We'll be done. But what I mean is that these things that we're saying, truth, all the warnings and the alerts and everything that we're talking about, you got to make sure that you get this out to your family. Even if it's just through word of mouth, you've got to share the truth with everybody. So I want to show you something else here. So first of all, I went on to YouTube to see what happened, because I heard they said that all of his emails and everything in medical and hundreds of gigabytes got accidentally, and I watched at the trial while Alex's lawyer said, could you please, put a stop to that and don't allow them to give it to the government and just hand it over to the media. And the lady's like, with a smirk, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, give me your reasons. I'll listen, but I'm not going to do it, of course. And so the lawyer politely said, well, I understand. Well, just, wondering if maybe you could just kind of, say no and don't let this, tell them to give it back and don't publish it to the public and stuff like that. After all, it's private. And she says, well, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Huh? Now, I'm not saying that's actually what's going to happen, because we don't know. Now, I'll give you another scenario that could happen. But either one of these scenarios, they're all in on it, probably, you see. But unless, of course, there's some patsy that didn't know he's in on it, but, he's been played. Like, maybe Alex didn't know or something, like I said. But another possibility is that this whole thing was rigged. The trial's rigged, as we said. Same thing we just got through saying. But they planned on, like, Alex is in on it. He gave them all this 300 gigabytes of material. And they're going to give it to the FBI and the CIA, and they're going to put it all over NBC and they're getting ready to bring in Trump, and Trump's going to be like, this is crazy. And the stuff that's going to be in those emails perhaps will vindicate Trump and vindicate Alex, and remember the other guy that was, kind of being sued by the FBI and the government, that was really a friend of Trump and of Alex, that Stone guy, Roger Stone. So Roger Stone was a friend of Trump, was a friend of Jones. Jones and Roger Stone was a friend of Trump. So now Trump's coming back into office. They're setting him up. They're going to make him the hero. Maybe they're going to leak all this, and these ignorant liberals frothing at the mouth for some juicy meat against the president and against Alex, they'll get all these emails and start publishing them, and then find out there's all kinds more emails that'll be released as we go throughout the whole next year or two during the campaign, and it'll all be like vindicating Roger Stone and therefore Trump and therefore Alex, and well, I don't know. There could be any kind of shenanigans going on, but I guarantee it's going to be some kind of shenanigans. I guarantee it. And nobody cares. And so I went on YouTube thinking, well, is there going to be anyone on YouTube? Maybe Fox News somebody is going to say, oh, this was terrible what they did to Alex. Maybe we'll see some of this. I can't predict, but it looks to me like, from what I can see already, nobody's going to start defending. I'll bet you $5 that Rogan comes out very soon and says that stupid criminal Alex. Or if he does say anything, it's just because there's a lot of support for Alex, and he's going to try to act like he's going to walk the razor's edge and pretend he kind of likes him. But he's going to say, Rogan's going to say, well, he shouldn't have done what he did. It's his own fault. That's what he's going to say. And everybody's going to go, oh, well, if Rogan said it, it must be true. And everybody's opinion will eventually be against Alex soon. Now, there will always be a few truthers that will see through all this garbage. But they already know that we're suspicious and we don't like them. And they don't really think they can pull us back that quick just by telling some more lies. So what they're trying to do is, over a period of time, keep the swell of this, grassroots movement of truth to a minimum, and ridicule it, and eventually nullify it to a point where at least they can get their agenda done. So then I thought, maybe over on that other location that we have, right, where I'm always telling you guys to go. And remember I keep telling you guys, I've been on YouTube. I've never tried to go anywhere else, really. I did hear about the other location, so I went and got on that site. But I knew that it was really kind of worthless to go over there, that I would never really have more than a few hundred people go over there. And by the way, they don't pay you. There's no monetization. And I can't just live without some kind of money, a little bit of money for food. Some people say, well, why don't you get a job? Well, if I got a job, I wouldn't be able to do these videos. So that's why I'm doing these videos, and I'm not doing any other work, because I can't do any other work. This takes me all day long to do these videos. So, but everybody was always saying, well, why don't you just go over to Rumble? And why don't you just go over to this or that? Well, because you can't. And I always said, look, whoever these people are that own Facebook and the Goggle Brothers and YouTube and everything else, they own these other companies too. Well, why would they be making it so you can say whatever you want over there? Well, because they know that very few people are going to go over there and stay over there and get popular, because nobody's, you can't even hardly stream it over there. It's too slow. There's all these complications. They do it on purpose. They never make it easy. They never make it so that you can actually get your message out. You're not going to make any money over there. So it is more or less just a backup thing. And so I believe, using that as, there might be one of two different things. There may be a legal reason why because when they come in and take your channel down, it's over, and they erase everything on your channel. And there may have been some lawsuits, and the government's like, well, I don't know if you're allowed to just erase everything these guys did for years. It was a lot of work, So maybe here's what we'll do just to get around that. We'll tell them that all of their videos will get automatically downloaded to another site, which nobody ever sees. It's like a lockbox, and you put them over there. Now, that way, the government knows who all the bad people are and who all these people that don't like government are, because they're the ones that's going to be making sites, websites and videos over there. because they think they're getting away with it because this other company likes them, right? No, this other company's the same company. They still don't like you. They're taking note of everything you do. The only way you're going to survive this is what I've determined, what I'm trying to do, is say only what I'm allowed to say. But since we're all friends, we kind of, the undercurrent, we know kind of basically what we believe, but we can't actually say what we believe, but we're all kind of winking, and we kind of know what we're saying. That's about all we're going to be able to do. We do the best we can over here. I speak as boldly as I can, legally. Otherwise, I'll be gone. And I promise you, I can't really do anything more than I'm doing here over there. They're watching those sites too. And in fact, over on that other location, they have this little system where if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you get points. And I got all the way up to about 90, and I thought, ooh, yay, I'm about there. And then I started uploading some videos with opinions, thinking, oh, it's safe to put it over there. And they started going down and taking points away. And now every video I put over there, they take points away until I'm going to be, I guess, kicked off of the other location as well. So I don't think they're the good guys, friends. Please understand, there is no good guys. The entire world has been taken over, and the only thing we can do is under the table let everybody know, we're not, you can't, if you think you're going to go out there and stand up to the police and tell them what for and this, and that, and the other thing, listen, it may be illegal what these police do, but they can do it anyway. And then if you got enough money to take them to court, you might win, but they don't care because only 1 in a million is going to win or go to court. A lot of the courts are going to be biased. You're really not going to win nothing. They got you lock, stock, and barrel. There's no way to fight it. Only thing you can do now is accept it because the Lord Jesus already said it was going to happen. And so now we're just waiting for the hammer. That's why I say, guys, you need to find you some property and get out of the cities now. I promise you it is coming soon. And I know a lot of you out there are saying, oh, well, I don't know if it's coming that soon, David. Maybe you're jumping the gun a little bit there. Ha, ha, ha. Everything's fine, right? Just since our forefathers fell asleep in death, all things continue as they have always continued, Dave. And Jesus isn't coming. I guess you're just wrong. We'll just have to admit that we're wrong. No, we're not going to admit that we're wrong. I wasn't wrong. The Lord ain't wrong. And I guarantee it's happening before our eyes, even if it takes a slight bit longer than we thought it was going to take. I still believe we're in the Great Tribulation. I don't think we've got very many months, years left. We may have up to 4 years or so left, but it's going to, I believe it has to come by the year 2030, and I think before then, the whole end will come. So there's not really much we can do, but take note of this and make sure we warn everybody that there is no way to fight these people. And if you see people that are fighting them, it's not because they're getting away with them and they're really winning or anything like that. You can't win them. These are people that was put on television so that everybody could see that somebody won or something, right? But in the end, they get them. They take them out just to make an example of them. Or they go through litigation for years until they finally take them out. You're not going to get away with nothing. Okay, so I'm not telling you to stop talking. I'm just telling you you're going to have to be very careful, speak the truth, know what you're doing. But as far as thinking that somehow or another we're going to be able to overcome this world, only in the way that the Lord told us we're going to overcome this world. By simply taking up our cross and following the Lord. Not by overthrowing Satan. Remember, Satan took Jesus to a high mountain and said, I'll give you all these kingdoms and all the power and all everything. All you got to do is do what I say. That means to bow down. Do what I say. So all Jesus had to do was do what was required of him by the devil, the government, by the one in authority of this world. Do what this world says and you'll get power and position. And Jesus said, no, thank you. I'd rather die because my Father in heaven and my divine mother love me. And now I'll just go and be with them. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be in your kingdom. I don't want your prize. I don't want your perks. I don't want your power. I don't want your stuff. I'm going to give Caesar's things back to Caesar, thank you. I don't want it. And I'm going to give the Lord's things to the Lord. That's what Jesus told us to do, and that's all we can do. Jesus said we must tell the good news. They cannot stop you from that. They will never stop us. They might try to tell us not to do it. They tried to tell Peter. But Peter says, if you think it's all right to obey men rather than the divine being, you better think again. He says, as for me, I must serve the Lord. And that's what we have to do. So we have to tell the world about the Lord Jesus. And tell them that this world's no good. Don't try to change this world. But tell the people not to be deceived by this world. So I went on to this site here, and I'll just give you a little. I don't even know if I can share this with you much on here. But I went on to that site. I just decided as I'm standing here, I'm not going to show you what I'm, was thinking I was going to show you. So you'll hear my voice, but you won't see what I was originally going to show you. That's not there. But what I was originally going to show you was that other location. And I was going to show you that there's nothing there. Here it's been a day or two, that this trial's been going on with Alex, and his own lawyer, just accidentally, supposedly, give all this information, and not one person over that other location said anything about it. We'll have to wait over the next few days to see if anybody's going to mention it or say anything. I doubt whether they are. See, it's so tricky because they got lawsuits against Trump. Now, Trump's going to win. And even if something happens here in the next few weeks and Alex wins or something, or there's a curve in the road on this thing, remember, whatever they're doing, we can't figure it out. It's too convoluted. It's too cunning. We can't even imagine, because you see, their goal may be to destroy every living soul. We're just so naive. We can't believe they would want to do that. So it's hard for us to think like them. But whatever they're going to be doing over the next few weeks, I guarantee it's to take away from the testimony of Jesus Christ. That's all they're really trying to do. And get you to willingly to believe it and to receive it and to follow them. If they can convince you they're going to Mars and they've gone to the moon, if they can convince you that any minute a nuclear weapon's going to come down and you better be scared and do what they say, if they can convince you that there's a PANDE, whatever, coming, and you better go and get your, thing, then they got you. Because you can willingly opt out of this world and give up. But friends, we're not going to give up. We know what we believe. It don't matter if all the world laughs at us and says that we were all stupid and there is no divine being and Mother Mary don't exist and Jesus was an idiot and he wasn't the son of the divine being and he wasn't truly divine and there ain't no second coming and there ain't, whatever they say. See, we're not going to fall for it. So, anyway, I just wanted to, to give you this information. Now, a little update, the puppies. Well, they're getting a little bigger. Their eyes are open. They're beautiful. Most of them are black and gray, and there's one brown one, and there's one that looks just like the original Blue I had. Remember, they looked like a border collie? I don't know if any of you remember Blue, my original Blue, which was a black border collie looking dog. He wasn't border collie. He had no border collie in him. It was other kind of mixtures of mutt. But the dog looked exactly like a border collie, only maybe slightly smaller. And he was thick hair, and he was mostly black, and he had white undercoat and a white streak on his head and a white collar like the border collies. And I love that dog, and he got ate by a cougar out there about 4 years ago when we were in Oklahoma, the first year, about three years ago or more. And then I called this other dog, which was his daughter. I called her Little Blue, and that's the one that had the puppies. Well, out of all of her puppies, she's got one of them that looks just like her daddy. So I'm probably going to keep that one, and we'll have the original blue back again. Isn't that amazing? And then there's another little puppy that's brown. And so my daughter took Bear, the brown dog, with her to California. So I only have the 2 dogs. So I may keep 1 or 2 of the puppies. And I think I'm going to keep the little brown one because she's looking to me like she's going to be basically a light brown, husky looking dog. Because I believe the father of this puppies, there was a couple of fathers, but one of them was a husky, a beautiful, look like a full-blooded registered Siberian husky. Sort of the mascara, the grays and darks, black and white, and it's beautiful. And so there are a couple that look kind of huskyish, and this brown one that looks huskyish but brown. Beautiful brown husky. So I'm probably going to keep 1 or 2. And I think if I keep 2 of them, I'm going to keep the little brown husky and the little blue. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be fun and amazing. And oh, we're going to have so much fun when we get to New Mexico out there on our property. And I will give you some footage of the puppies soon. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go, guys. We'll see you. May the Lord bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.